welcome to my kitchen. My name is Andrea and today I'm going to show you how to make a quick blackberry cobbler. Now, not your typical cobbler of rolling out dough and layering it. This is just kind of a dump and go kind of dessert. So we're going to start off with 1/3 cup of butter, and we're going to put it in an 8x8 baking dish. And I'm going to just kind of break this up a little bit, just in chunks. I've already got my oven preheated to 375 degrees, and I'm going to place this in because I want the butter melted. So let's place this in the oven. All right, so in our bowl, we're going to sift 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and then 1 cup of sugar, just granulated sugar. We love blackberries, but making a blackberry cobbler is not always something that I want to do, just because it takes time and then I wind up with a huge amount. And my husband doesn't really like the cobbler crust so much, so this is a nice dessert because it's small. You'll only have a couple servings. All right, so we're also going to add to this 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And then we're going to add a pinch of salt. So growing up, I lived in the country and we had wild blackberries on our property. So my mom would always go out bright and early in the mornings when they were ripe. She'd have a hat and long sleeves and a bucket to collect the blackberries, and then she would bring them in and clean them, and then she would always freeze them. So she would always have gallon size Ziploc bags with enough blackberries to make a big blackberry cobbler. And when she would make a blackberry cobbler, I mean, it would be bigger than a 9x13. It would be a big pan. So that's just how I grew up eating blackberries. And the tame ones are good. There's just something about a wild blackberry that has a flavor to it that you just don't get from a tame blackberry. So, all right, so we've kind of swished that up in there. And then we're going to add 3/4 cup of whole milk. So just add that in. And you'll see just how easy this is. All right. And then we're going to add just a little bit of vanilla, because I want this dough part to have a little bit of flavor. So we're just going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. All right, so let's check and see if our butter is melted. Almost melted. We're going to give that just another minute. So we've got 12 ounces of blackberries. So this is a 2-cup measure, and it's all the way to the top. So it's just a little more than 2 cups. So 2 cups of blackberries, or 12 ounces. These are fresh. You could use frozen, that would be fine as well. So if you use fresh, just give them a good rinse to rinse any dirt or anything that might be on them off. So especially if you go and pick them, they're definitely going to have a little bit of dust or dirt depending on where you're at. So you could also, for this, use raspberries or even blueberries. Or you could just add a mixture of all the berries together. So it would work fabulous either way. So let's see about this butter. Oh yes. All right. It is melted. Just gotta be careful not to grab the handles because it is hot. All right. Get that little last chunk dissolved. Okay. I'm gonna grab a spatula here, and we're just going to scrape our batter right into the pan of melted butter. Don't stir it. And then we're just going to take our blackberries and we're just going to pour those right on top. Just kind of try to even them out a little bit. And then we're going to take, this is like some coarse, like raw sugar. So I'm just going to take a little bit of it. You could use regular granulated sugar if you wanted to, but I'm just going to take a little bit of this and just sprinkle it on the top. So about a tablespoon. And that's all there is to it. So I'm going to pop this into an oven. Again, it's 375 degrees. We're going to bake it for about 25-30 minutes. I'll check it. And add a little more time if it needs to be added. And we'll be back when it's done. All right, y'all. So I pulled the quick Blackberry Cobbler out of the oven. It's been cooling for about 30 minutes. It's still pretty hot on the sides. So I did wind up baking it for 40 minutes. It just needed a little extra time since it was so thick. You can kind of see how thick that is. So it just needed a little more time in the center to finish. So let's dish some of this up. And my thought when I pulled it out of the oven was, man, this needs some vanilla ice cream. So while I was waiting for it to cool down a little bit, I grabbed my keys and ran up to the local store and picked up some vanilla ice cream. So it's just so hard to not have a blackberry dessert without vanilla ice cream. And it's still really hot and steamy. So this will make about 4 servings. So just enough to get, you know, a nice little treat without going crazy overboard. So, and you can see how nice and done it got on the top. So nice and golden. And you can see in the center. Absolutely delicious. So we're just gonna put a scoop of vanilla. And growing up, this is exactly how we would eat Blackberry Cobbler. You have to have ice cream. All right. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.